everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm pretty sure you're asking what was the inspiration for this video, specifically the nerd girl trend. I feel like there's always a trend that's an excuse to just share your fandoms, to see who else has the same interest, and you can find each other in the comments. Super cute, love it. But a lot of people have been super weird to other people in the comments. It's almost like the Lorax Halloween costume discourse all over again, where people won't believe that a pretty girl has those interests, which valid, you know, especially when we consider older movies similar to Mean Girls, where there's that lunch table theory. People don't mix their interests with what they do, you know, they're that and that's that. We're especially lucky to be living in a day and age where there's so much exposure to things that they probably never have learned before, and it's making them realize that they like so many other things that they've never seen. But I feel like all in all, this unfortunately is stunting a lot of people's ability to just embrace new things and get used to new things. So I just wanted to talk about different advice I have when it comes to embracing your whimsy and loving different things, finding things that you like, etc., and expanding your horizons. Yes, being whimsical could come from wearing a lot of bright colors, adding lace trims to everything, having star ice cubes in your cup, but there's also a side of whimsy that I feel like people are not talking about enough, and that's just being yourself. As corny as it sounds, being yourself is the #1 way to be whimsical. So let's talk about different tips and tricks I have to embrace your whimsy. How to embrace your whimsy? It all starts with being cringy, because to be cringe is to be free. You have to really just live in it and love it. You have to just deal with it, because there's no way to be carefree without being a little weird looking, to act a little strange, to have people look at you and be like, someone's gonna have secondhand embarrassment watching what you do. But that's just because they haven't fully embraced themselves either, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. You have to focus on yourself. For myself, I think being cringy and really embracing that started with YouTube. Because you put it out into the world, anyone can see it. Your friends, your family, people that don't like you, people that you don't like see it. A bunch of random people from different countries can literally see what you're doing and saying. People are not gonna like what you have to say, what you like look like, and you just have to learn to be okay with it. And was that great to say to a child? No, but it did build character. I will say, I feel like I've become stronger and more myself because of it. So thanks, I guess. And so piggybacking off of that, make sure to try everything. I think I didn't really figure out what I wanted to do in life until way later on. I don't think I had a plan until recently, maybe in like the last 3 years, of what I really wanted to work towards. I kind of picked marketing as a major just because it kind of fit with what I was already doing with social media. It comes with trying things and failing really, really badly. Also, maybe trying things and succeeding. You never know what you're gonna like until you try it. I know I suck at sewing, crocheting. I'm horrible at video games, so I just watch people play video games. I learn by doing, and I figure out what I do and don't like because of it. I've tried so many things. I was a band kid, an orchestra kid, played piano too with my grandma. I was in choir, I was a theater kid. I couldn't paint or draw for my life. I was so not athletic. And those are things I figured out about myself because I tried. And then I said, this is not for me. And so based off of trying everything, make sure to commit to a few things. I say pick a big 3 and go from there. Like you just heard, I did a lot of different things, but I realized what I wasn't good at or what I didn't like, and I decided not to continue those things anymore. But when it came to the things I liked, I pursued it for a little bit, maybe longer, depending on what I ended up liking and not liking. And I realized the parts about different things that I liked the most. Like when it came to theater and choir, all that kind of performing arts, I realized the part I really liked about it was performing. And it kind of fits hand in hand with like social media and YouTube, because you get to have your own creative spin on things, but you also get to have everything be your way. Whereas I didn't really like it when it came to performing, because I didn't have control over what it would be like. When you're in theater, when you're like singing, when you're playing an instrument, it's one take. You're live and in public. I know I could never be a streamer. I know I could never perform out in the stages like I used to, because it makes me super uncomfortable and I have super bad social anxiety. I love to edit videos. I love to try different things. I love having a creative mind, and that's one way I can express that. And I didn't know that until I decided to commit to those few things. And also having a big 3 helps you focus in on the things that you really, really want to do and expand those interests. And you also get better at the things that you try more. Okay, next, I also say create/schedule a time around those activities. The big 3 that you picked out, try to focus on those ones. It's important to make time for what matters to you, and making a schedule to help support those hobbies, those interests, jobs, whatever that could be, will help you get better and create repetition around it. And you also get to like live in the things that you really, really enjoy. So for me, I did have a summer routine video, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I basically gave myself time to have an outside activity and a digital activity, because I am on my phone a lot. I work from home. I also have a lot of social media stuff I do in my free time as a hobby, as you can see. I know I can't do that all day, so I give myself 1 to 2 hours to do that. I also give myself 1 or 2 hours to either color, be outside. We just started a garden as a family. So there's a bunch of different things I like to do, like to try, like to be able to like make time for. So I schedule my days to make sure I can still do it, and I get to rotate whichever activity I want for that day. It's just a small thing that I do in order to make sure I'm like maintaining what I want. Yes, it's a schedule, yes, it's a routine, but I still have my say in it. I get to drop and add because it's my life, you know? I want to enjoy it too. Diving more into living in your space, that's one of the biggest things I could offer as advice. As you can see from my room, I'll enter some clips too. Throughout the years, my room has always been my home base, my space. Obviously, you know, my house, it's whatever, but like I am in my room, I want to say maybe like 80% of the time. I am rarely outside of my room. I've curated it to reflect so many different things that I like, artists that I like, different things. I have activities in my room too. I have my 3DS here, I have records, I have CD players, books, my laptop. I have arts and crafts in here. I have a whole wardrobe and a mirror so I can put on a fashion show whenever I want. There's just so many fun things in my room that I don't really get bored being in here. A random person could come in my room and kind of figure out, oh, yeah, this is Kaylee's room. She like threw up all over it. And I did, yeah. What I figured out the best way to live in your space is to pick items that are a bit more practical. There's a lot of different decor that you can pick out. A lot of my posters are from Five Below, from friends. I picked it up when the end of school and some people were just like giving away their posters. I said, I want a poster, gimme. Stuff like that, where I get stuff gifted because people know me so well at this point. I also print a lot of stuff from Pinterest. I look up a lot of stuff, I print it. Go to concerts, I collect everything. I'll look up some stuff from Depop. I actually got small figurines of Animal Crossing characters from Depop. Piggy banks of certain fandom paraphernalia are really, really, really cool because you don't have just a regular way to hold your money. You have a cool way, and you can use it as decor. Different things can be used as your own decorations, and items can become practical for you, so it's less of like a, oh, I'm collecting stuff just to have stuff that reflects my fandom. I have things that actually can be useful to me. You have to figure out what that means for you. Maybe you can paint things too, so you could have an everyday item that's just painted to look like something. But beyond that, and going against what I had just said, don't keep it confined to one room. Like I said, I'm in my room 80% of the time. I'm in here a lot, but I don't just let my interests live in one space. The beauty of the day and age that we live in is that we're so connected and we're able to find different people that like different things all over the world. And especially with TikTok, Reddit, Partyful, Eventbrite, there's so many different ways that you could look up different events, find different things happening in your city with people that have the same interests as you. So you're not alone. You already have something in common, and from there you can figure out, is this friendship worth it? Whatever. That's really not the point. You get to be surrounded by people that have the same interests as you, without just being in your own room. You get to express yourself in the open, which is really nice because not a lot of people get to do that, unfortunately. Finding those events to attend will really, really, really make your life a lot better, a lot more interesting for yourself. You get to really live and breathe like how you feel. My family and I just attended our second Collect-A-Con. First time we went, we had no idea what a con was, what con etiquette was. We didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't bring anything, and we met the voice actor for Mario. I had none of our Mario stuff with us, but eventually we came back. We got our very first Super Mario Bros. CD cover signed by him. I also got a Pokeball puzzle set signed by the voice of Ash Ketchum. I got this Soul Eater staff. I have so many fun things I was able to get from that event. You get to see people in cosplay. People were walking around playing Squid Game in real life. There's so many fun things to do when you really like open your mind to like, I like these things. I like being in nerdy spaces. I'm gonna go find one. If it's a little bit of a drive, I understand if it's like hard to get there. And if it's a far train ride, flight, I understand. But sometimes you just have to go. You have to carpool and get over there because it will be so fulfilling when you're actually in those spaces. We also sang the Pokemon theme song, and then Soulja Boy came out. Last year it was Waka Flocka. I don't know how or why. Multiple things can exist in one fandom, and it's really, really fun actually. Going off of that, remember that you don't have to look like anything in order to be a part of a fandom or enjoy something or live your life and be whimsical. You don't have to be that girl. You don't have to be a full-on alternative person in order to like live in a different space or fandom and love those things. You like it because you're you, and you like that thing. That's all that you need. You really don't need anything else to really explain why you're here. I go back and forth on calling myself alternative. I feel like I used to dress more alternative. That's because I was a bit more carefree when I was younger. Now I'm older. I had to modify it a bit for a job. I have more piercings than I've ever had in my life. When I first started doing YouTube, I think I only had my first ear piercings on both lobes, and then I eventually got a septum, and that was it. Now I have 4 tattoos and 12 piercings. I dress somewhat similarly to how I used to dress. I'm getting back to it. I definitely deviated from it in college because I was kind of scared of how I looked for a second, because I'm like, oh, I want to fit in. It's a whole new place. Because if you didn't know, I actually transferred to a whole different state. I went from the East Coast to the West Coast, New Jersey to California, to go to school, and it was so stressful because I'm like, oh, I'm so different here. It's like, oh, I'm a weirdo. But like, I feel like slowly throughout my time there especially, I really started to embrace how I looked, how I talked, all those things. Like, it was, I definitely stood out. I stood out in many ways, but also San Francisco, thankfully, is a very weird place. And I don't mean that as California weird, as many Californians will tell you that is a bad word. I mean weird as in they're so free, they do what they want, no one really says anything. Side note, it might not be attainable for people to actually look like anything. They might not have the money, they might have strict parents still, they might have different rules, they have like confinements obviously of like jobs and stuff like that, and you don't have to wear certain clothes, get certain piercings, do your hair certain, you don't have to do any of that stuff in order to like something. You like it because you like it. Remember that your interests are your own, so they're your own personal things, and don't be afraid to have a little twist on it, make it new and different. This is where I got because people were mad at me for calling my room indie and anime themes. People were commenting and DMing a lot at that time. They were getting after me. They were like, oh, I was 16 at the time, and they were telling me, how dare you? Are you stupid? Do you really not know what's indie? This is not indie. It's close to indie, but it's more kidcore. You should really learn your references. And that was back in 2020, I believe. They were real strict. It was a strict program. Yeah, I was scared. I was like, I don't even have a college sweatshirt. I can't cry on cue anymore. What am I supposed to do? You know, we live and we learn. I was definitely stressed at the time because I'm like, oh my gosh, I messed up. I don't know it. It's not that big of a deal. Not to say that it doesn't matter, because all subgenres matter and it's important to keep their integrity, of course. But you're figuring things out, and especially in my own defense, I was a kid. I'm hearing these things, I'm seeing these things for the first time in my life. I'm learning the differences between goth and emo, and it's like really interesting to hear. There's a lot that you get exposed to when you're like figuring things out, and it's okay to like take that time, be patient with yourself. People will criticize you, obviously, but like, they're not you. You need to be able to be comfortable in your own skin. Sometimes you don't know, and that's okay. Sometimes you can get corrected. Sometimes you could also be in the right. Multiple things can be true at once. There is nuance to every situation, of course, but when it comes to your own personal way of expressing yourself, especially when it comes to either being a person of color, being queer, there's always gonna be a different spin that you put on something than someone that's like hetero and white. You know, it's always gonna be a little different. A guy versus a girl, non-binary person, like, it's always gonna be a little different, and that's completely fine. It goes back into the look thing. You don't have to do anything in order to be something. Like, you are that. I like how this looks, but it's not gonna work for me, so how can I make it work for myself? My room's set up this way. I can't set up a room that way, even though I would love to. Feng shui is not gonna work for my room right now because my pegboard is glued to the wall. I have to just deal with it, you know? Stuff like that is just gonna happen, and it's okay to do that because it's your space, it's your life, it's your clothes, it's your look. It's okay. It's your likes. It's okay to mix and match different interests and different things. I've worn so many different hats while also still liking the things that I do. I founded my own Black Student Union at my community college. I became the event coordinator and vice president of the college I ended up going to. I was an intern at that university. I also ended up joining my sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. But I've never lost my interest for theater, my love for music, my love for video games, especially the cozy ones, because once again, I can't do the hard ones. I really can't. I still love all my cartoons. I still rewatch so many shows to the point that my brother gets irritated. I love all my anime, still the same. Still watch K-dramas, still watch Thai dramas, still listen to K-pop, still listen to J-pop. I also listen to alternative pop and alternative R&B. I still listen to rap music. All those things can exist at once. I'm still going to cons, and I'm also going to Greek picnics. There's no difference, and there's no way that they should be this divided. I know those things can kind of seem contradictory, but I hope that we could like move towards a society where we're less like different lunch tables. Like, we don't have to be so separate. I just want to get to a time where we're like more comfortable with like being ourselves, and also getting away from people that like discredit you and also be rude about what you like. You're not me. Like, why do you care? And lastly, no one has to understand but you, as long as it makes sense to you and as long as it makes you happy. That's like the most important thing, and I hope that's what most people take away from this video. Yes, did this deviate a little bit away from what whimsy is? Yes, in the way that a lot of people have been talking about whimsical stuff, where it's like lace, oh, have fun collectibles, make sure to start your morning off with flowers, stuff like that definitely is a cool way to add whimsy to your life. But I think the most important thing when it comes to adding whimsy is to really think about the mental state that you will be in when you're really able to be be carefree and live your life and do whatever the heck you want. Because whimsical can mean anything. Whimsical can mean that like you go out and you wear fancy clothes, you're at home and you bake cookies whenever you want. Like all those things could exist together, and you could also still be someone online that participates in fandom, random discourses, watches a bunch of let's plays, like stuff like that can all exist all at once, and all those things to me are whimsical. So I think it's important that everyone expands their definition of whimsical in order to really sit with themselves and be more comfortable with doing what they want. In order to embrace your whimsy, you have to be cringe. You have to love what you're doing. You have to love what you like. Now, I'm not saying you have to defend it to the end of the earth. No, sometimes what you like is wrong. But it's okay to like it, I guess. Asterisk. Don't quote me and use it for a horrible thing. Yeah, wrapping it all up, no one needs to understand you but you. I hope that you could take a lot of advice from this, a little bit, hear it and just feel a bit more comfortable with yourself, and know that you don't have to be any type of way to be who you are. It's your life, and it's important that you live it the way that you want to, because as far as we know right now, this is our lifetime. There's no telling what's after, there's no telling what's before. You don't know what you have except for right here, right now, and it's important that you live it to the fullest. With restrictions, it's hard to do that, and that's completely understandable, but anything that you can manage, things that you can create, and things that are tangible for you, I think you should definitely take this time to figure it out for yourself and see if you can reach those different things. See if you can achieve those things to make yourself a little bit happier on the inside, and then that will project on the outside, and you kind of just seem like this whimsical, carefree person that doesn't bother with what people are saying about them because they're just so happy in themselves. They're just someone that people would like to aspire to. That concludes Whimsy 101, how to be whimsical and embracing yourself. Hopefully you guys like this video. I don't do a lot of talking videos anymore, but I thought this was really at the forefront of my mind. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.